You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 18th day of November, 2024. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the day. Now, this broadcast is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. However, the first broadcast of the day, our live training room, from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern, that's private. Members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael comes on, he'll show you step by step how to take the trial. It's very simple. We'll get you indicators indicating today. Your trial will officially begin tomorrow, and it'll run all the way through next Monday, so you don't lose any days. Okay. Now, when the live training room ends each day, take a 30-minute break and come back for the afternoon broadcast, this broadcast. Now, there's two different ways you can join this broadcast live, whether you're a member or not. Now, I'm going to give you the best way first. Go to mytradingiq.com. You only have to do this once. Scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click that link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Not only will it immediately log you into our platform, but every trading day going forward, you get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. In that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it'll automatically log you into our platform. And the benefit there is you'll have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there'll be days when you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy, can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel. And it's really easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. Christian Financial Radio Network. But you don't have to remember all that. You've already got the YouTube part memorized, so really all you got to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live or simulcast, if you will, as we're doing right now, each and every day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,600 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And thanks to the power of YouTube, you can see how we've evolved over the years. You could scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. And, just watch a little bit at random. Pick a day, watch a little bit, jump to another year, watch a little bit. Do you need to? Do you have to? No. But if you want to see how we've evolved over the years, that's the way to do it. youtube.com/CFRN. And by the way, while you're there, if you haven't done this already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell. This way, anytime we go live, you'll be notified. But also in the live training room each day, you hear Michael say, hey, I just recorded that trade. He sends it to me, and then I post it to our YouTube channel. And if you have subscribed, it'll pop up on your phone. It'll say CFRN just uploaded a video named this. And those are usually like 2-minute videos, because as you know, the trades in the live training room typically only last a couple minutes. So you can just tap your phone and bing, watch that trade over and over and over again if you want, so that you really get the hang of it. Okay, this is our daily schedule for the afternoon broadcast. We start with our devotional, word of prayer, some news, both global and market, a recap of the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts. Then about 50 minutes into the broadcast, Michael will join us, give us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. Then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. And then I'll wrap everything up with our good word for the day. Now, the topic of our devotion, we're in day 6 of day 7. I really enjoyed this. It's called Average Joe. It's about a high school football coach who made a promise to God that at the end of every game, win or lose, he would go midfield and kneel and pray. Over time, his players chose to join him. He never asked them to, certainly never required them to, but they saw a man of such great faith that they chose to join him. Well, some politicians, some bureaucrats, some parents, they didn't like that. And they put Joe through heck and back. There's a book that just became a movie. It's from the same folks who produced the movie The Blind, which is the true life story of the Robertson family of Duck Dynasty fame. So I hope you've enjoyed this devotional. I certainly have. And again, today is day 6 of day 7. So after tomorrow, we'll be on a new topic. Our scripture today, Psalm 37, verses 5 through 6, from the Message translation. Open up before God. Keep nothing back. He'll do whatever needs to be done. He'll validate your life in the clear light of day and stamp you with approval at high noon. Psalm 37, 5 through 6. So we know about all the troubles Coach Average Joe, has been through. Today we're going to talk about a righteous reward. It took many years and multiple attempts for Kennedy versus Bremerton School District to be officially accepted and ruled upon by the Supreme Court. But the day finally arrived for Coach Joe and his legal team. In June of 2022, a 6-3 decision was announced. Joe Kennedy's prayers on the Bremerton football field, even in his capacity as a public school employee, were acts of religious expression. And as such, they were protected by the First Amendment. Bremerton had infringed upon Joe's constitutional rights by disciplining him for expressing his faith in a way that did not coerce students or disrupt school activities. Strike up the band. This monumental ruling was a win for Joe Kennedy, but it was also so much more for the Marine turned football coach. As a member of the United States military, Joe had fought for the rights of every American, not just Christians. Freedom of religious expression is one of those rights, and he simply could not sit by and watch it be taken away from himself or anyone else. It was a grueling battle, but the outcome was a crucial victory for all Americans and the generations to follow. Here's some things for you to ponder or reflect on. Maybe you don't ponder, maybe you reflect. How did Coach Joe's commitment to his faith influence his identity as both a coach and a veteran? What implications does this ruling have for future cases involving religious expression in public schools and institutions? And do you think the battle would have been worth the cost, even if the Supreme Court had ruled against Coach Joe? And think about why or why not. Oh my goodness, this just popped up on my screen. The man Elon Musk endorsed to be the next Treasury Secretary. Wow, did that really just come out? Huh. And we thought it was going to be those two other guys, right? Okay, sorry. It just popped up on my screen and surprised me. All right. That's our devotional. Pray with me. Heavenly Father, we come before you with hearts full of trust and hope, remembering your promise in Psalm 37. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. Lord, today we commit our paths and our plans to you, knowing you are faithful to guide and uphold us. We lift up our new president and pray for your continued protection over him. Grant him strength, wisdom, and peace as he leads our nation and the world. And may your hand be upon him during this time of transition. We also pray for a smooth and harmonious confirmation process for his cabinet. Let unity, understanding, and integrity prevail in all proceedings. We trust that you will shine your light upon them and guide their steps in every decision they make over the next 4 years. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen. And happy Monday. And to give you the numbers from around the world. Going to start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow down 23 points. The NASDAQ up 126. S&P 500 up 24. Russell 2000 up 13. Pretty quiet start to the week. Now those markets, those are the cash markets, but the futures, as you all know, today's session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. In the commodity basket, crude oil taken back. What? Anyway, it's up $1.86, trading 68.88 last. That's a gain of 2 3/4%, or $1,860 per contract traded. Gold taking it back, up $44, trading 26.14 last. That's a gain of 1 3/4%. So crude was up 2 3/4%, gold's up 1 3/4%, and guess what silver's up? 2 3/4%. Actually 84 cents on the day, make that 85. Last trade 31.28. Now when the price of silver moves just $1, that's worth $5,000 per contract traded. A $1 move, and we are up 85 cents on the session since the open last night. Turning to the other parts of the world, the Nikkei fell 422 points, a little over 1%. Shanghai dropped 7. The Hang Seng gained 150. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE posted a gain of 45 points. The DAX dropped 21. The CAC gained 8. Kind of quiet all over. So that gave us a mixed day in Asia. It was a mixed day for the UK. And at the moment it is a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. As futures traders, we like to see the 4 major indices the same color. We don't care if they're all 4 red or all 4 green, because as futures traders, we have the luxury of being able to be long, short, long again, all in the same hour, if that's what the chart in front of us is telling us to do. And when they're all 4 the same color, that's when you have better follow through on your trades. Those of you that were in the live training room this morning, you know that it didn't come easy, right? It took some work. Some days it's one and done. Not today. And that's because the 4 major indices are mixed. Actually, at this point, we only have one in the red, the Dow, and it's only down by 32 points, which really, it's not a lot. So I suspect by the end of this broadcast, the Dow just might creep into the green along with the other 3. Let's look at some global news. India. Now this is not something you would typically expect out of India. Although the last time you went to a doctor, it's a very high probability that that doctor was from India. And if you've, not that this is even in the same field, same arena, but the last time you stayed in a hotel, if you're traveling, and I'm not talking about the big Holiday Inns, but you know, the mom and pa hotels along Route 66 and that kind of thing, their last name was probably Patel. I've done it. I've walked into hotels like that, little mom and pa hotels, and if there's a lady at the desk, I would say, "Good afternoon, Miss Patel." And she'd be like, "Do I know you?" No, ma'am." "Well, how did you know my name?" Patel is kind of like Smith in India. Uh, so we both get a good laugh, and maybe I get a little discount on my rate. But anyway, India successfully tested its first long-range hypersonic missile over the weekend, maneuvering mid-flight and impacting with precision. There's videos floating around on the internet. You can watch it. Hypersonic missiles can fly at more than 5 times the speed of sound, more than 3,000 miles per hour, and have a range of over 930 miles. Hypersonic missiles are able to fly lower than ballistic missiles, making them harder to detect and intercept. They are also highly precise, do not need to follow a predetermined trajectory, and can change course mid-flight. Saturday's test took place on Abdul Kalam Island off the coast of India's eastern state of Odisha. India now joins 3 countries, the US, Russia, and China, in demonstrating hypersonic capabilities. North Korea and Yemen's Houthis claim to possess hypersonic weapons. Other countries, including Germany, France, Japan, and South Korea, are reportedly pursuing them. Well, the salmon have returned to the upper basin of Oregon's Klamath River in recent weeks. I used to live there. What beautiful country when it's not raining, which it usually is. Successfully laying eggs in the area for the first time in decades, according to expert surveys. The development comes roughly 2 months after the removal of the last of 4 hydroelectric dams was completed, wrapping the largest dam removal project in U.S. history. The Klamath River was once home to one of the country's largest salmon and steelhead migrations, with hundreds of thousands of fish traversing the waterway annually to lay eggs. A series of 4 dams built between 1918 and 1962 generated hydroelectric power, but significantly disrupted the ability of fish to reach the river's upper basin. One estimate found spring run salmon populations in the area to be down 98% from pre-dam levels, though officials are optimistic levels will return to historic averages in the coming years. Now, when you think about it, when a salmon is born, they take the easy ride downstream, but when it's time for them to mate and lay eggs, they swim upstream thousands of miles to the place of their birth to give birth. It's fascinating. Now, I don't know if you've ever done any fishing, and well, you know what you got to do after you catch the fish, unless you're one of those catch and release guys. But if you're planning to eat it, you got to whack the head off, right? Sorry if this is too graphic for younger members of the audience. That's not a huge brain in there. Okay, so we have proof sizes and everything, right? That little bitty brain can navigate all those thousands of miles. That's wild. The remains of a missing World War II veteran has been recovered and identified at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. The expedition, 213 feet below the surface, is the U.S. government's deepest underwater recovery operation to date. On March 11, 1944, a B-24 bomber known as Heaven Can Wait was shot down over Papua New Guinea. Beautiful place. Been there. The aircraft carrying 11 U.S. service members was en route to bomb Japanese anti-aircraft weapons on the island's northeast coast. Early last year, Navy divers recovered the dog tags and remains of Second Lieutenant Thomas V. Kelly, Jr., a 21-year-old aviator from California. Sir, we thank you for your service. The remains of 2 other veterans, radio operator Eugene Darrigan, 26, and navigator Second Lieutenant Donald Shepik, 26, were identified earlier this year. Wow. Let's go to the market news. The contest for Treasury Secretary is emerging as a key stumbling block in Donald Trump's presidential transition as candidates rise and fall by the day and top advisors make their arguments before millions of followers. Last week, the top contenders had appeared to be Howard Lutnick, CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, and Scott Bessent, a former Soros Fund Management investing chief. But the water is now murkier than ever after a weekend of even more intense back and forth, unlike anything surrounding Trump's other picks so far. Would be interesting to hear more people weigh in on this, Elon Musk asked his 200 plus million followers on Saturday before making his own views clear. My view is that Bessent is a business as usual choice, whereas Lutnick will actually enact change. But even Musk hasn't been able to put an end to the debate, with Bessent still being pushed by prominent backers in Trump's orbit, but new contenders apparently now in consideration. Now, I read you that piece that flashed across my screen earlier. You know what? I don't want to waste time talking about this. Let me just do a real quick. Hey Siri, has Trump picked a candidate yet for...
Here's what I found.
I didn't even ask you yet. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. I'm sorry if I upset you. Maybe if I unlock it. Hey Siri. Has President Trump picked a Treasury Secretary yet?
I found this on the web.
Well, I got diddly squat out of that. Best thing I got is new candidates emerge.
Right now to the latest on the Trump transition. We had a big
Okay, so I think that thing that popped across my desk earlier about Musk, I think that was somebody trying to be funny. That is funny, right, Ricardo? Yeah. Okay, all right. Sorry for the false alarm, but that's what the thing on my... Well, I mean, it was on the internet, so obviously I believed it. From Bloomberg, members of President-elect Donald Trump's transition team have told advisors they plan to make a federal framework for self-driving vehicles one of the Transportation Department's priorities, according to people familiar with this matter. As a result, Tesla's up $7 today. No, I'm sorry, 7% today. If new rules enable wider deployment of cars without human controls, it will directly benefit Elon Musk, Tesla's CEO, and Trump megadonor, who's become a powerful fixture in the president-elect's inner circle. He's bet the future of the EV maker on self-driving technology and artificial intelligence. Somebody gonna cry foul. But that's politics. Computer chips are coming to a brain near you, and sooner than you think. At least that's according to a report by investment bank Morgan Stanley, which estimates the brain-computer interface, which you'll be hearing when you hear somebody referring to BCI. You might want to write it down. Brain-computer interface. The BCI market could be the next opportunity for investors, with a total addressable market of $400 billion. This is, to us, the next big opportunity in medical technology, and it's rare, according to Morgan Stanley. BCIs have been in development for 100 years, essentially. When you are 5 years away from full commercial launches, I think it's time to get excited and get ahead of the curve. Now, Titchmarsh, who wrote this report, covers medical technology stocks, such as Inari Medical. You may want to write these down. I'm not recommending them. I'm just giving you the companies in the report. N-A-R-I. That's Inari Medical. Penumbra, P-E-N. You just got to jot the symbol down. That's all you need. Sight Sciences, S-G-H-T. iRhythm Technologies, I-R-T-C. Nevro, N-V-R-O. Inspire Medical Systems, I-N-S-P. And Embecta, EMBC. The report published last month estimates the commercial launch of BCIs in about 5 years. Talk about getting in on the ground floor. On our numbers, we expect just under $1.5 billion of revenue to be generated from BCI implant procedures out to 2035, hitting north of a $500 million annual run rate in 2036, and hitting the $1 billion annual run rate by 2041. To us, these numbers seem very plausible, particularly when compared to existing medtech end markets. How many of us will still be around then? Analysts told Yahoo Finance that several neurotechnology companies are vying to be the Apple of their industry. Titchmarsh estimates the penetration will be limited in the first 20 years of launch, likely sitting at less than 3% by 2045. But still, this is such a large market, you don't really need too much penetration to be generating quite significant revenues. Well, people were investing in Tesla before there was an electric car, so. And from Bloomberg, Mr. MicroStrategy up almost 10% today. MicroStrategy bought a record $4.6 billion, that's B as in billion, in Bitcoin, making good on plans announced last month to tap capital markets to accelerate purchases of the cryptocurrency. The enterprise software maker, whose corporate strategy includes buying the digital asset, acquired about 51,780 Bitcoin between November 11th and November 17th, according to an SEC filing. That follows purchases of over 27,000 Bitcoin between October 31st and November 10th, and 2 large acquisitions in September. The Tysons Corner, Virginia-based firm now owns around $30 billion in Bitcoin. And the last on the news front. Yeah, well, we already discussed the price of crude up today, substantially. Oil surged as simmering geopolitical tensions and the weakening dollar overshadowed bearish signals coming from internal market metrics. They gotta make it sound so complicated. West Texas Intermediate rose about 3% to trade near $69 a barrel after the U.S. gave Ukraine the green light to use long-range missiles inside of Russia. Talk about burying the lead. Amping up tensions between the warring nations. Crude also tracked equity markets higher, and a weaker dollar made raw materials priced in the currency more attractive. Yowza. All right, let's take a look here at home. Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around-the-clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, crude, gold, silver, bonds. Now, over the last 329 weeks, we have issued over 18,400 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged, on a weekly basis, 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure. And a very simple process we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Last week we ended up with 10% stopped out. Understand that these alerts are issued well ahead of them actually triggering. So it's not like some woulda, coulda, shoulda thing. No. You get the alerts first, and then you wait for price to get to that area, and then you put on the trade. Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. I did issue a couple of additional alerts this morning, but at the time she did the recap, since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 14 total alerts issued, 1 never triggered. Still waiting on the outcome of 8. Some of those may have now resolved themselves. That left us with 5 actionable alerts, and so far, nothing stopped out yet for the week. So, that's a good start. Now, every logic alert comes with an entry price, an initial target, additional targets, and a final trade to target. The purpose of the alerts. Yeah, you can trade them, but don't stop there. Too many people make that mistake. It's just like low-hanging fruit. The purpose of the alerts is to teach you to learn how to read a chart so that you can come up with your own alerts, because you know where to expect support, where to expect resistance, and you learn how to find windows of opportunity. That's the purpose. So if you're just using them to trade, you're doing yourself a great disservice. Although the results are, well, acceptable, make sure you're doing the work where you use them to learn how to read the chart. You just break out a 30-minute chart and you say, okay, because all alerts are created on a 30-minute chart. Say, now, why did Dwayne pick this as the entry place? Draw a horizontal line. The initial target is designed to help you get your goal for the day. Draw a horizontal line. And why did he put another target here? Draw a horizontal line. Before you know it, you won't need my alerts, because you'll be able to look at a chart and see what I see. All right? And the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. So our day session is their night session, and vice versa. Now, 329 weeks is a very long time, but about twice that long ago, we rolled out our first alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Now, they're different. Different how? If you're a member or trial member, read this information and it will explain everything to you. And if you have questions, just ask. These alerts, these targets, were published last night, the moment the market opened, 6 p.m. Eastern. S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, which we've now rolled to the, that should say 5, GCLF 25, not 24. Here we go. But I put a notice in the alert channel and in the discussion group, guys, roll forward to GCLF 25. Okay, crude, the NASDAQ, gold, silver, and bonds. So just remember as we go to the charts, every one of our members and every one of our trial members had every one of these targets the moment the market opened. And that's a good thing. So let's go to the daily chart of the S&P where we always start. And lo and behold, what happened on Friday? We came down, we talked about it as it was happening. Support at the BBC and the 38% fib extension. See, that's what we call support times 2. Now we spiked it down to the bullish cross. See, when the blue line gets above the green line, that's called a bullish cross. And when you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move like that, when price, the first time it revisits that area, it's going to almost always find good support. And it did. Then the other thing kicked in. When price pulls back to the BBC, the pullback holds more often than not, even if it spikes it a little bit. And it should be good for a bounce. And that's what we're seeing today. A bounce from the 38 and the daily BBC. It's the high so far today, 59.33. And what was that? 59.04 was the 38. So from 04 to 33 on a quiet day, yeah, I'll take it. Now, the green line is called the BBC. It stands for Bull Bear Cross. When price crosses above the green line, we expect higher prices. When price crosses below the green line, we expect lower prices. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. So you see when we pull up from below, the pullback held. When we pulled down from above, the pullback held, and the pullback held, and the pullback held. Now we know eventually it'll trade through. Okay, that keeps the markets fluid and tradable. But where to trade down to? Right across these bottoms right here. See all these wicks? Boom, boom, boom. What a beautiful spot for the market to find support, right? Right. And it's also now the 38% fib retracement. It was not the 38 fib retracement then, but once we put in the new all-time historic high, then it became the 38% fib retracement. Now, what should we expect from here? Well, potentially, because it's support times 2, we could get a bounce all the way up to the 50% fib extension, and that's where the step line is. So just as this was support times 2, that's resistance times 2. However, buyers have to be convinced enough to push it up there. You see, it takes financial commitment for price to rise. For price to fall, all that is required is that the institutional traders hit pause on the buy side, and price will just naturally deteriorate. Without constant, consistent buying, price will fall. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETFs, that's just how markets work. Now, institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Why? It's because of account size. Because of their account size, they trade in tremendous size, and the size they trade in actually moves price. So I encourage you, no matter what you trade, spend 2 minutes with the daily chart before you drop to your smaller time frames and start trading every day. Had you done that today, you would have been expecting a bounce off the open. And we got a nice bounce off the open. It's also called learning how to read a chart. Okay. Now, not only are you getting a free peek over the shoulders of the deep pockets and seeing what they're doing, okay, because institutional traders, again, they look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. It's all because of account size. So being able to look over the shoulder of the deep pockets, I mean, that's quite a trick in and of itself. But it also enables or allows you to identify where major resistance is. And let's say we don't get the big bounce we expect. If price drops, we know we got potential support right here. Okay. And then the 24% fib extension. And then this little area right here. And then before you know it, we're at the 38% fib retracement. Retracements and extensions are different, but they use the same 14th century math, just in a slightly different way. So as I said, all 30-minute charts, all alerts are created on a 30-minute chart. Now, this was last week's lowest weekly trading zone, 5882/83. And look where we came down and touched it. And this was the close right here behind this vertical line. This is Monday. This is Friday. So we got a leg and a retracement. The pullback to the BBC holds more often than not. Okay. Now, markets are fractal in nature. So you can apply the BBC to a daily, weekly, monthly chart, a 30-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, a tick chart, a range chart, and expect the same information relative to the time frame you're looking at. Okay? Price gets above the green line, expect higher prices. Price gets below the green line, expect lower prices. Always relative to whatever time frame you're looking at. So we got this huge leg down, found support at the lowest weekly trading zone. Now these are last week's zones because all the alerts that go out Sunday night are based on last week's zones. Why? Because the new zones don't come out till Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once the new zones are published Monday morning, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Make sure you get them on your charts before Wall Street wakes up for the week. Okay? All right. So we bounced Friday off of the lowest weekly trading zone. And this was the opening candle for the Monday session last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. It ran up to the BBC, actually managed to close above it. Okay? Now you see this high right here? You see this high right here? This high here? It's all keying off that wick right there. That was resistance all the way across here. Now when blue and climbing turned to red and falling, it sent price lower. Got a leg and a retracement, a leg and a retracement, and a leg and a retracement. But see here, we didn't put in a lower low. So price headed in the other direction. Red and falling turned back to blue and climbing. We got this beautiful move all the way up to 59.33. Now look at the black step line. It's starting to hook right. When the black step line crosses from the right side to the left side of blue and climbing, that's an indication price is about to retrace to the BBC. On the way down Friday, see how that step line crossed? And once the step line crossed from the left side to the right side, what did price do? Ran right to the BBC. Does that work on a larger time frame? I guess it does. Okay. All right, here's the Dow. Again, the vertical lines separate the day. This was Friday, back here's Thursday. Now, on tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's zones on my chart. And all the alerts I issued this morning, however many it was, those were based on this week's zones. Okay. Once they're published, they're carved in stone. So this was the open last night on the Dow. We tried to drop, but we ran into blue and climbing, which is bullish. That pushed us up to the BBC, which we expect to be resistance, till proven otherwise. So it sent us down, and then back up, and then down to the short target. Traded a little bit below the short target. Go look left, you'll find out why price stopped there. That support sent us back to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, back to support, and the high right here. It's just below that weekly trading zone, and it is the high of this candle right here, 43,655. The high of this candle, 43,654. Okay, one tick difference. That's good enough for me to call it a double top. But we're above the BBC. We've got the step line, blue and climbing. Step line doesn't look like it's hooking right yet. So we might get another run to the upside. We'll see. Remember when we did the numbers from around the world, the Dow was the only one in the red at that time. Russell. Here's where we opened last night. Price is trapped between support and resistance. So we consolidated for many hours overnight, and then we ran up this morning and hit last week's weekly trading zone at 2328/29. Resistance sent us back to support. We got below the BBC and we tried to get to the target, but we didn't quite make it. But plenty of room to get your goal for the day. You only need 2 points. Market found support here. See right there where that step line crossed? Boom. And that sent us all the way back up to the zone, where we've tried to get through it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've made 5 attempts, and so far haven't been able to crack it. Now keep in mind that's last week's zone, but zones have what I call carryover power. Okay? Usually by Tuesday the new zones are fully positioned and in control. In Q, here's where we opened last night. We had blue and climbing. It walked us right up to the BBC, and this time we traded right through it. So we got a leg and a retracement and a leg. Now, when blue and climbing gets directly above price, that turns it into resistance because it's probably on its way to becoming red and falling, which is bearish. And sure enough, it took us all the way down. And where do we find support? That's the low of the opening candle last night. This candle opened red. Then buyers came in and drove it up to close the 30-minute candle green. But that low is that low. Support will always send the market looking for resistance, which we found at the BVC. That sent us back down to red and falling, which was directly below price, so it becomes support because it's on its way to becoming blue and climbing, and it sent us all the way up to the long target. Okay, now look, the step line has hooked to the right, and what happened? Retracement to the BVC. We trade every market exactly the same. Future, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flow is the same across all markets, all time frames. Now, we're on crude, and we're consolidating at last week's zone. But I'm going to pause here. When I come back, we'll pick up right here. But Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. And then we'll do some live trading on the TradingView platform for 30 minutes. And then I'll be back.
All right.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Okay.
Transition right in there. All right.
Looks good.
So here we are. Good. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 18th day of November 2024. Now, if you have not taken a free trial with us and you'd like to, go here to mytradingiq.com. Let's just look at something. Go here to mytradingiq.com. Why do I have two of these open? That's what I was wondering. Go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button right here. When you click on that, you can be brought to this page. Not this page. There's no credit card required for the trial. You're going to be brought to this page. Or all that we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. Actually, isn't this page, is it? No, that's why we had two of them up there. We brought to this page. And there it is. We brought to this page. But we still ask for just the same things. Your name, your email, your phone number. 5 multiple choice questions. And down here at the bottom, if you have NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. If you have TradingView, give us your login ID. All right. If you don't have TradingView, you really want to get TradingView because we have all the indicators on TradingView, but we don't have them all on any other platform. Now, that said, to get TradingView, if you don't have it, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on Trading Platforms right here. All right. Then just scroll down right here where it says TradingView Platform. Watch the video. All right. It's a 3-minute video. Just watch the video. Click on this link right here. It'll bring you to this page that's coming up. And on this page, all that you need to do is choose one of these. There's a basic also, but you really want to get one of these because they have custom range bars. This is a 30-day trial for these things. All right, so it doesn't cost you any money. It says $14.95 a month, but that's after the 30-day trial. Okay, I don't know where it says there's a trial, but there is a 30-day trial. That's how you get started with all that. Okay. All right. So the trades, I'm sorry, the room. Now this morning I did a lot of talking and I did a lot more talking than trading. So we didn't have a ton of trades. We had 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. I didn't update this. 12. And I had to run over a little bit to get back to green because I had forgotten to put in a trade right there. But as it was, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the safety risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today was the 18th day, is the 18th day of November 2024. We made 43 ticks on the NQ. We lost 65 on the Russell. We made 11 on gold and 3 on the ES. That put us at a whopping 37.50 on the morning session. Now, we did get the goal for the day where that was 100. We did get the goal for the day after 11 minutes and 1 trade. It gave us $1,100 with 11 contracts on it. We took a total of 12 trades. Now, on the month now, we're at $4,267 over 12 business days, averaging $355 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, our lowest month of the year was $58.20. We have 9 business days left this month. 9 business days. So if we do the math on that, it's 358 times 9. $3,200. if we just manage to maintain the average here on out for the rest of the month. We actually do have a holiday coming up too, so there's going to be 2 days that we don't get to trade. So we really only have 7 trading days left. Let's do that again. Let's do that math again. Let's do it again. 58? 355. 55 times 7. 2485. We'll still get it done. 2485 plus 4267 would be plenty. And we should do well better. We should do better than that, I think. Should have some pretty good days coming up. Anyway, that said, on the month we're at $4,267 over 12 business days, averaging $355 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we've gotten our goal for the day on 216 business days, consecutive business days, so every day this year. We've gone 14 days now. That was almost a 1 today, but we've gone 14 days now since our last non-green day. It was a blue day. And we've gone 378 business days since our last red day. So on the year now, we're at $104,637 with 1 contract over 216 trading days, averaging $484 per contract per 2-hour trading day. The 2420 blueprint. Let me get the question box out to make sure I'm not missing anything over there. Okay, that happened before I got in. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, the goal being $100 per contract, like this morning when I got to 100 per contract after 11 minutes in my first trade, if I were to quit trading then, I would end up with $100 per contract today, or $1,100. If you were to do that and add 1 contract a month, basically, that's what it would work out to. If you got your goal for the day every month, there's an average of 20 business days a month, so you would get $2,000 per month. And if you added 1 contract for every $2,000 in profit that you had, and so far this year, and you did it just like I did in the morning, and so far this year, you would have only had to work 64.5 hours, and you would have averaged $2,915 per hour for those 64.5 hours. So it came up to $188,023. $188,023. I never did finish putting on that information in here, which is a number of contracts traded month by month, getting the goal. I will do that during the break, maybe during the next break. Anyway, maybe. That's it. That's where we stand on the day, on the month, and on the year. Okay, so let's get into the actual trades that we did. Now, we didn't trade the YM at all today. We traded gold a couple of times, a few times. Our first trade on gold was right here. We picked up 10 ticks on that guy, and that's where we got the goal for the day on that first trade right there. The next trade was right here. We picked up 1 tick on that one. And if I'd have realized where I was at the end of the day, then we would have let that run a little bit more and gotten more than just 1 tick on it. That wasn't at the end of the day, was it? No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. Well, I still would have let it run. And on this one right here, we ended up with a break even. All right. Since then, we had this trade right here. Was the only trade on gold since then. And if you got the perfect entry at 15.1, you would have bumped your stop to break even at 5 ticks. So it would have just made it to 5 ticks, made it 6 ticks. I probably would have gotten slipped 1 tick on that. So I wouldn't have gotten 15.1. I wouldn't have gotten 15.0. I'd have gotten 14.9. And then I wouldn't have bumped my stop. So I would have gotten stopped out. But if you didn't get that slippage, then you would have been okay. You could have gotten your stop to break even. There hasn't been another trade since then. Not on gold, anyway. Okay. So the Russell today. The Russell had my number. You can see. We started out here with a stop out. It was a good, valid trade. Everything was right about that. I got 10 ticks back on this one. I had another stop out right there. Again, everything was right. I did everything right on that. I had a break even on that one. I shouldn't have even taken that. I didn't realize it was going right into the zone. I think I took it before I put the zones on. And then I stopped out on this one. And again, everything was right about that. So all 3 of my stop outs, I did everything right, and I got stopped out on all 3 of them. It's just the way the markets were today. We had to wait for a higher swing, and then in here there was a higher swing. This wasn't really the higher swing. This was barely the higher swing. We really didn't get another opportunity. I wouldn't have done this. It was too close. I wouldn't have done that because it didn't have a lower swing. There was really no more opportunity there on the Russell. And that was it. So we stopped out 3 times, and we got 1 plus 10, and we're minus 65 on the Russell. this morning. This is the ES. I was using this during the lesson plan this morning. We only took a couple of trades. I only took one trade on the ES. One trade. I didn't even write it down. One ES. We got one tick on there. 3 ticks on that. Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah, that was it. We got 3 ticks on that one. It was the one trade we took right there. We got 3 ticks on that. I would let that run if I didn't know where I was on the day. I would let it run up closer to the swing high anyway to get us the goal for the day right then. But as it is, I didn't, and I took 3 ticks profit on it. There was another trade right here that would have stopped you out. Then there was no reason to take another trade yet. There's still no reason to take another trade. All right. So we didn't have that much for news today. I'll go over that in just a minute with you, but the NQ today didn't have that many trades. We didn't have any that went the full 48 ticks. We had the first one here went 4 ticks. Then we had a break even on that. Then we got 12 ticks out of that one to get us plus 16. Then we had a break even there. And then I didn't write all these in for some reason. But what did I end up with on the NQ? 43. Okay, well, another reason we could have gotten the goal for the day earlier, I didn't write all these in. We went 46 up to 50, so we got 4 there. Then I think on this one, we went this doesn't, we had 4. Oh, that's what it was. It wasn't 46 to 50. We had 4, then we went to 16. Then we went to 50. That doesn't look right. Okay, so we had 4 in the beginning, the very first one. Then we had 12 more to get us to 16. Then we went to 50 on this. So what do we get to go to 50? 50 minus 16, 32, something like that. I don't remember having a big trade like that. And we didn't add in these either. I think this last one right here at 1142, I think we got 16 ticks on that, or 13 ticks on that. And this one right here, we forgot to add in. I believe we got 12 ticks on that. So I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. But we did stay a little extra to do this one at 1143. Because this one right here I didn't let run because I thought I had enough. But we got that one and that helped out. And then since then, what do we have? Nothing really. This one right here, I wouldn't have done that. No, that garbage right there. Nothing really. The markets have been complicated today. All right, so let me go look at one more thing here. I was curious what we had going on. This is Bitcoin on a 10,000 range. I didn't want to do that. Okay, and I want to put it on a daily. Okay, so Bitcoin's making a nice run today. Had a pretty good retracement. We're expecting a bigger retracement than that, but it's looking like it's going to make a nice run here. That's a good thing. All right, so for anybody that's coming in right now on YouTube, if you have not taken a free trial, let's go out here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button, sign up for the trial right there. There's no credit card required for the trial. Sign up for the trial right there. And you'll be sent to this page, the registration page. Just fill it out. It takes like 30 seconds to fill it out. All right, fill that out, and you'll be given all you need to get into the room in the morning and get your indicators indicating on your desktop. Now, I'm curious about this. Dan, I don't know if you're watching right now, but last week you were using the fib extension, I think, right? Instead of the fib retracement. We talked about that last week. And let's go out one more here. This was silver. Dwayne was saying silver was up pretty good today, and you can see it right there. It is up pretty good. And next one out is the YM. This is the YM with just plain TV trades on it. Looks like just plain TV trades. Does it have a bias on it? It does have a bias on. Huh. That's something. Okay, so just the plain TV trades. Well, okay, that's not all today. Okay, here's all today. All right, just plain TV trades from the beginning at 9:30. Gave this one, which was okay. This one, no good. This one, the stop would have been up here, so that was okay. This one was okay. This one was okay. And the current one, your stop would be a break even on that. That's just the plain TV trades. And let's go out one more and see what we have on the 8th level, Tesla. And Tesla actually just gave a long indication a second ago. All right, it did have a gap up this morning, I think, right? Yeah, it had this gap up. Yeah, for those of you guys who are following the TV trade stuff, yeah, I had a signal here on Friday to go long, right here on Friday. And you can see that. Let me see if I can see that somewhere. Here we go. Right in here. I think on Friday, November 15th, was that Friday? I was got 19 new things here. These are all today. It was right here. Tesla, the last thing on Friday, said by 3:20:47 on Friday. 3:20:47 right in here. Bang. That was a good move. Anyway, let's go all the way to the end here. All the way to the end, because right now I thought it just gave a signal a minute ago. I don't know what the signal was though. We'll go back here to 4 and see if we have any trades setting up. We almost have something setting up here on the Ankino. This was an issue all morning because it wasn't ranging very well. So the pullbacks aren't very deep. You see, it's in the oversold. It's going to give you an up close, but it's so close to the swing high, I don't want to take the trade. Okay, and that's been a problem all morning. Now, one of the things that I had said last week and is always true, if you get into a day that's range bound on the time frame that you're looking at, you can go to a different time frame. There's nothing sticking you to this time frame. You know, you can go here and look at trade rules. We have several other time frames in here: the 4, the 7, the 9, the 11, the 15, the 19, the 31. Go to something that suits you a little better. Like on this, we can go down to the 4. Right? I have no idea what this looks like, but let's go see what it looks like. Okay, this looks like it's bouncing all over the place down there, but as long as you're making sure you get higher swings, you come off a swing high, following the rules for every trade. Remember, you're just trying to get the goal for the day. You're not trying to trade 100 times. You just want an opportunity to get in there and get your goal for the day. If you go back here at the very beginning, the first trade was right here. Right here. Entry 93.25. So we need to get down to 91.25 to get the goal for the day. There's 91.25 right there. First trade. All right, right in here, you might have bumped your stop to break even. No, you wouldn't have. That's just a couple of ticks. Yeah, it's first trade, goal for the day. Second trade right here, that would have been just enough to get you stop to break even. I think 92.75 down to 92. That was not enough to get stop to break even, but it wouldn't have stopped you out again until all the way over here is where you would have stopped out. All right, and then you didn't have another trade until all the way over here, and that one would have been enough to get your goal for the day. This is only 8 minutes in. You're 8 minutes in. All right, 98.75 up to 02. 8.75 up to 02. That's plenty to get your goal for the day. So there was one stop out twice where you could have gotten your goal for the day. And that's in the first 10 minutes. The opportunity is there. It is there every day, almost every day. Just don't be afraid to go down to a smaller time frame or even up. You know, you're not going to get as many trades, but if you go up, instead of sitting on a 9, you could go to instead of sitting on a 7, you could go to a 9. It will take a lot longer to do anything, but even on a 19, it'll take a lot longer to do anything, but at least it'll be something to do. You know, like this one right here, it gave you the short right there. Bang, that was enough to get the goal for the day. The next opportunity was over here. That was enough to get the goal for the day. The next opportunity right here right here. That is enough to get the goal for the day. Okay, even right here, that one was enough. Is that all today? Oh, that's not today. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go to today. I am sorry about that. All right, so our opportunity today, there really wasn't anything right through here. Yeah, the first opportunity would have been right here. And that would actually stop you out. Okay, so today it wasn't working on the larger time frame, but Friday it was. Sorry about that. But you could always go to another time frame. And if it's not giving you much in the time frame that you're in, to get more, you're going to go down, not up, really. For the gold, Jill, I use a 9. Okay. I don't know if you're watching Jill or Dan or one of you guys. Jill, it says you are. Okay, in here, if you go to mytradingiq.com, for the long term, 27 is what I use. 27. It's kind of like 3x is what I'm looking at. Okay. When I didn't create a thing for the gold for the long term, but the question was this. You know how I have these alerts that pop up that say, on the 100 tick range right now on the NQ? Well, let's look at the last alert that popped. Here we go to the log. The last alert that popped was on the NQ. Look for a 100 tick move down is what it said. And that was at 1309. So right here, it said look for 100 tick move down. And that was at 61 it was priced at then, and it dropped down to 48. So that's 23 points. That's almost 100 ticks. It's about 85 ticks, somewhere in there, between 85 and 90 ticks. But it said look for that move down. Right now, that's based on the 100 range. What Jill was just asking was what time frame would I do that for on the gold? Since I've been doing it for everything else, why don't I just do it on the gold? And I will. Okay, this is what I would do on the gold. I know the S is 27. The S went from a 7 range. Let me put this back here. I don't know why I went to 20. I think I was looking at the 24. It was going to be a 23 or a 27, I think is what I was looking at, Jill. It had to be a multiple of 4 minus 1 is what I was looking for. And, when you're looking at the bigger picture, it doesn't really have to have the -1 part of it because you're not trading off of that. So you don't really need to calculate that difference. So you could just say from the gold, if you want to look at a larger time frame to get an idea what the bigger picture is going to do, I'd just do 3 times that, which would be 27. That's about the same as the ES. I mean, I know it's the same as the ES, but you could do this at 4 times that, which would be a 36. Whatever you want. I didn't create, like with the NQ, we're looking at 100 range. That's a little better than 3 times. With the ES, we're looking at a 27. That's a little better than 3 times. With the Russell, we were looking at a 60. That's a little better than 3 times. With the gold, a 27 is a little better than 3 times. Okay, it's right around, it's the same as that. So to create the alert for that, let me just go through that process with you. All right, to create an alert for that, you just go here. Once you click on it, you go here, click on alert, and you have to select the TV trades range trigger. And then you have to do crossing up and value. You want to know when it's crossing above the 85, do once per bar close. And down here, you can type in whatever you want down here for the text. Okay, down here you say, it's gold, right? But we'll just say GLD crossover. Oops. Cross over 85 for 27 tick move down. Okay. Now I'll just copy that and come in here. Now it's going to play a sound. It's going to show a toast notification over here. It's going to notify in the app. All right. It always does in the log, but it's going to do all that other stuff too. So that's for the gold. And now we'll do another one for the other side of the gold. You do price, TV trades range, trigger, crossing down value. This is going to be minus 85. You do once per bar close, put all this stuff in here that I just did, cross under 85, look for a 27 tick, move up, there, and hit create. All right, now I have both of those created in here as well. So now that I'm trading gold, now those things will trigger whenever they do. And what you're saying is this: while you're trading on this market right here, while you're looking at this time frame and trading on this market, you're suggesting that, and let's just spread this out so you can see. You're suggesting that whenever this gets into the oversold, it's going to get into the overbought. So when it gets in here, look for it to move up into the overbought. Now it takes 2 bars to go from oversold to overbought. All right. So if it closes down right here, then your first bar is going to be 27 ticks. And the next bar, well, the first bar will be pretty close to 27 ticks. And the next bar, if it keeps doing it, will be another 27. So you can expect at least the 27 out of it. All right. Even if it doesn't go up to the prior swing high like this one right here didn't, you know, you would be able to see right here that it moved up pretty good before it came back down. You know, you'd have been notified right here when price was down here at 610 to look for a 27 tick move up. So you'd be looking for it to get up to, at that point, 637. I'm sorry, 613.7. 613.7. That's what I mean. 613.7 is what you'd be looking for. And this was 12.6 at the up close of that. 13.4 at the up close of that. Right there was 13.8. That's what you'd be looking for right there, 13.8. Now looking at this chart, you'd be expecting it to get all up to 15.1. But when you're just looking at it on the smaller time frame and you have an opportunity to go long, then that gives you an idea of what to expect out of the trade, right? And so when it did it again over here, you were expecting the same type of thing. But right here, when it gave you that indication, price was at 14.7. So it kept going down, I think, after that, from 14.7 down to 13.5 before it went up. But from 14.7, it did run all the way up to 16.9 for 20 ticks on the NQ. Now, I don't know whether that turned into a trade or not on the larger time frame, on the smaller time frame, but it was right here at 11:22, 11:22 to 11:31. So let's go look down there between 11:22 and 11:31. There was this trade right here, but that was not it. So no, there was not a trade in there that you could have done. This was 11:22 right here, but you couldn't have taken that trade because because you were not coming off a higher swing. That doesn't seem right. Let's go back there and look at that 27 range. It's not the right time. Right here. So the down close of this bar, that bar began at 11:22. It gave the down close at 11:31. Right, the down close was there at 11:31. When the open of this bar was at 11:31. Okay, like the open of this bar was at 13:16. So the open of this bar was at 11:31, and then it made a run up from 11:31 time wise at 16:14, right around in there. That makes more sense. Okay, so 11:31, right in here. Okay, this is the run up that it made up to here, but it didn't give you any long trade in there. So you wouldn't have had any trades at all in here based on that. All right, you wouldn't have been expecting it to get up above and do anything in here. You would just let that one go and waited for the next opportunity. In here, you'd be looking for an opportunity that's going to tell you look for a 27 tick move down. That's what you'd be looking for in here. Okay, and I don't know if we got any of those. If we go back out here, no. Well, we had one right here. This would have given you an indication for a 27 tick move down here at 11:10 on the gold, but you wouldn't have been looking for that. And it hasn't given you any more indication like that since then. It hasn't gone into the overbought since 11:10. And So it wasn't really all that helpful today. The bigger picture stuff wasn't that helpful on gold. But it is on the NQ regularly, and even the YM, and the YM and the ES and the Russell. It's pretty helpful on those when you get an indication from the larger time frame that says to look for it to drop or look for it to go up or something like that. That was a lot of talking. I haven't taken a trade yet. Well, there hasn't really been a trade yet. The way it's coming together, the Russell's the closest thing to giving us a trade, and the weekly trading zone's right in the way. On the ES, I left that on this morning instead of flipping it back to this. There it is. Gold crossover 85. Look for the 27 tick move down. Okay, so that's what it's saying right here, right now. The larger time frame, it just crossed up over 85. We just about have a trade set up here and saying look for a 27 tick move down. So this is a good opportunity to see the whole thing in action right now. We have, let me try to record this one separate. Yeah, okay, so on the larger time frame, we just got this that says to look for a 27 tick move down. Now we have all four lines just barely visible in there. 13.8 down to 12.8 is what we're going to be looking at. This is on the 7 range. Hang on, I got to go back to a 9 range. Okay, let me get my down back up here. I messed that up. Hang on. Let me get my down back up there. And well, 13.8. We're going to be looking for it to close down here at 12.8. So the DOM is still in the right place. All my orders in the right place. All that's good. But it's a 9 range. So we're still looking for the same thing right here. We're just looking for it to come out of the overbought and give us a shorting opportunity. Now let me just go down here and see if we did everything right. Yeah, we did. Okay. This was a valid long trade going that way, so we didn't have to use this is another teaching moment, I suppose. Hang on. Let me slide this over here. You see, this right here was a swing low when we're going down right here. And this right, well, this became a swing low, but then you had a long opportunity right in here. As soon as you get a long opportunity, it resets the swing low information. All right. This is the ES. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Hang on. It's basically the same thing though. I know that's wrong. Okay, so this was a swing low before, and then it came in here and it gave you a long trade right there. So now this is the swing low that you're working off of, not this one, because a long trade came after that, and that kind of resets the swing low to whatever comes next. All right, and this is what came next. So this is what we're working with right here. We have a high of this bar at 13.8, so we're going to sell 12.8, 10 ticks below that bar. Right, 10 ticks below that bar. And what do we expect? Well, we expect it's going to go down to 27 ticks. Okay, well, now that just moved up, and now it kind of ruined the trade on us. I'm going to hit cancel on it. You see the ribbon's no longer visible, all four lines. It might be on a down close. This is not an easy and obvious trade anymore. Right, because that closed up, it's not an easy and obvious trade anymore. If it closed down, it was going to turn that stuff back to red, but now it's not an easy and obvious trade anymore, so I'm going to leave it alone. But what we would have done, because this is a 9 tick range, we could sell 10 ticks below the top of the bar, knowing that when the bar closes down, it's going to trigger us into the trade. And then we would expect it to go 27 ticks down total. So 27 ticks from right here, from 14.2. All right, so it'd be 13.2, 12.2, 11.7 is what we'd expect. And that happens to be right here at the low of the day, all right, this swing low. So it's exactly what we'd expect out of the trade anyway. Expect to get down here to this swing low, and then down to this low, and then down to the next low below that. But that's the way it all came together. So I would end up with a trade out of that. I thought we were going to get one. The other markets aren't giving us the thing. Let me put those away, and we'll come back in here. That, and this, and that's it. I have 6 text messages from Jill. Let me go check that, Jill, and make sure I was actually on the 27 range when I created that. No, I wasn't actually. I was on the 9 range. Okay, well, I screwed up those. Let me just cancel both of those. I'm glad you noticed that. All right, so the deal is when you create these things, you got to be on the time frame that you want them to trigger in. Right, because Joe was just telling me that hers didn't trigger like that. So I'm glad that whole thing didn't work out. So now I'll just create those alerts again. All right, we'll do range trigger crossing down, and value is going to be -85. I think I still got everything on the clipboard, so I can just paste it on here. That's crossing over, crossing under. Thanks, Joe. Up. Okay, and we'll do the next one. Futures range trigger crossing up. Is that what I did with the last one? No, -85. Okay, crossing up. Value 85. Once from bar close. Paste. Create. Let me go check this one and see. This should be crossing -85, look for 27 tick move up. And this one is crossing over 85, look for 27 tick move down. That is correct. All right, so I did them right that time. Yeesh. Thank you. All right. I've run out of time, guys. Sorry, I didn't get any trades off in this time frame. We almost had some. We almost had one over here on gold. But as it is, we didn't. So if you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Click on the purple button. There is no card required, no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button. It's going to bring you to this page. Fill out this form, and we will get your indicators indicating on your desktop while you're in the trial. The best time to do that is at the beginning of your trial. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you all for coming today. And I'm going to pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne is ready. And almost there. There he is. There it is. I can't hear you, though. You don't have any audio right now. Still none. Let me just look and see. Yeah, you're wide open on this end. Okay, so it's something on your end that's stopping your audio from working. In the meantime, gold has given us absolutely nothing here. The Russell's really given us nothing. The ES is giving us nothing, and the NQ is also giving nothing right now so far. All right. Nobody else can hear Dwayne either, right? It's not just me. Because I'm sure he's probably trying to talk right now. It's just not coming out. Rico, can you hear Dwayne? There he is.
All right, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, for some reason I had to unplug from my computer and my headset and plug it back in. I could hear you. You just couldn't hear me. Okay.
Okay. All right. It's all good now.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today it took 11 minutes and one trade to get to $1,100.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, let's pick up real quick where we left off. We've rolled crude forward to the F contract. It's our first contract of 2025. Again, these are still last week's zones. On tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's zones. The reason these are last week's zones is because trades that go out on Sunday night are based on the previous week's zones, because the new zones don't come out till Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So, This vertical line separates today, Monday. Here's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. So we opened right here. Now everyone had these targets the second the markets open. So we had blue and climbing, and so we ran up to resistance at the BBC. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not. So we get a leg and another attempt, then a leg and another attempt. Now this leg, just take this candle for instance. It opened at 66.91 and dropped to 66.65. It's about $250 per contract traded in that one candle, even though we didn't make it all the way to the short target. So then we get back above the BBC, red and falling turns to blue and climbing. We get a leg, we get a retracement, the pullback holds, we get another leg that takes us to the target, through the target, and all the way up to the weekly zone overhead at 68.80/85. Notice that the black step line has just crossed. See, on the way up, you had the perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. But now that black step line is on the right side of blue and climbing. And blue and climbing is directly above price. So that's two things telling us that price is most likely to now retrace back to the BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. The only other thing that might happen is we might continue to consolidate along the zone. If we do, the BBC will rise to meet price. Okay. Now, when price encounters a weekly trading zone, 70% of the time you're going to get this consolidation. 20% of the time you're going to get rejection. 10% of the time you'll get the slice. Okay. So the last market would be silver. It was a big day for silver. How big? How about $5,000 per contract traded? This was the open last night at roughly, what do we open? 37. So at 37, we had, what was the high? 35. So we missed $5,000 per contract traded from the open to the high by 2 pennies. 2 pennies. That's a $5,000 per contract move. If we had gone 2 pennies higher. It only takes 2 pennies to get your goal for the day. So we opened here last night. We had the BBC overhead. We had blue and climbing. Okay. If you're going to trade through the BBC, you want the support of blue and climbing, which we had. Okay. And so this candle here opened at 30.46 and ran up 9 pennies to 30.55. That's $450 per contract traded. And then it continued on higher, right up to the zone. Got a retracement to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not. There it is. There it is again. And then we just kept climbing. Now, both gold and silver have been very depressed over the past week, 2 weeks. So this was due. Okay. Now that's not a great strategy to just trade something because it's due. That's kind of like saying, well, there's no way price can go any higher, so I'm going to sell into a rally. Wah, wah. It don't work most of the time. Every now and then you get lucky. Or price is dropping and you're thinking, oh my God, there's no way price is going any lower. So you buy. And what happens? Price goes lower. The market can withstand longer than you or I. The market has very deep pockets. It's filled with institutional traders who have very deep pockets. They can withstand a deeper drawdown than you or I could afford, and they can stay with a profitable position longer than you or I might be comfortable with. Okay, so as you can see, the step line has crossed on silver. So now we expect what? A retreat. We've already pulled back to the zone and got a little support there. So we either consolidate sideways and the BBC rises to meet price, or price drops to the BBC. Now the pullback held here, here. Didn't quite touch it here. Now, if it holds 9 times in a row or 900 times in a row, that's no guarantee that the next time it's going to hold. In fact, eventually it's not going to hold. So if you sit there and watch it hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then you bet the farm on the 6th time, you're just gambling, okay? Don't do that, please. Now, we never made it to the lowest weekly zone on silver last week, but you can see we had some mega sell-offs. And then I think I commented on Friday that we were entering a transition phase, and now that we've taken out that high, we need to close above that high. And then we got a pretty good rally going on. In fact, we're not too terribly far away from the highest weekly zone on both gold and silver. It's high on gold right now, 26.19, last week's zone. This week's highest weekly zone for gold is 26.24. So is it possible that by tomorrow morning we could be there? Yep. Now, we've published the zones since December 14th of 2009. This December 14th will make 15 years. And historically, what we've seen happen, if price in any of the markets hits the highest weekly zone or the lowest weekly zone by Tuesday morning, there's a high probability that by the end of the week, price will be at the complete other end of the spectrum. Does that happen 100% of the time? No. Does it happen enough that we've noticed it and tracked it and been aware of it and taken advantage of it? Yeah. And for those of you that like trading options, those can create some real good scenarios for options. Okay? Because everybody thinks the market's going to just keep falling, but because you've already hit that lowest weekly zone, you know something they don't. That the potential historically over 15 years says it's going to rally. So that can make those further up out of the money options cheap. So, okay, gold going to pull back to the BBC as well. We just covered that. One last look at the daily. Okay, this was the bounce that we got off support times 2. When price drops to the daily BBC, we expect a bounce. When price drops to a Fib extension, like it did here at the 38 Fib extension, we expect a bounce. And we did get a bounce up to 59.33. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot. Either we see some late day buying that pushes us up to resistance times 2 at the 50% Fib extension and the daily step line. But if we close on the low of the day, look out. Now, this bullish cross, okay, we almost touched it. I mean, you could say you touched it, but I'm going to say you missed it by a tick or two. If that gets cracked, if price trades below 58.70, I fully expect it to go to 58.45. So that's what, about 30 points? $50 a point. It's $1,500 per contract traded. All right, to become a member and learn how we do everything we do, it's so much simpler than you think. Because our strategy and our way of thinking is quite different than what you find in most places, relax. It's so simple. You just have to be exposed to it for a couple weeks, and pretty soon the clouds part and you go, oh man, all the years, all the tens of thousands of dollars down the toilet. Why didn't I find this 10 years ago? Well, in our current incarnation, we didn't exactly exist, but we had a very profitable methodology 10 years ago, going all the way back to 2008. It's gotten better with time, like a fine wine. So, how do you become a member? You send an email to support@cfrn.net. In the subject line, put "I want to become a member." And then in the body of the email, you can give us your name, phone number, whatever. And just hit send. Valerie will send you an information packet with everything you need to know and a link that you can click and become a passport holder. Once you become a passport holder, you'll have 2 hours of live training every trading day in an interactive environment. Live market, live trades, a teacher ready to answer any question you have. We explain every move we make, every trade we take, the reason why, and the reasons never change because it's rules-based trading. And there aren't that many rules. So, along with 2 hours of live training every trading day, you also get private one-on-one mentoring at no extra charge. Just got to ask. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flow is the same across all markets and all time frames. As I've shown you, from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. And with the Logic 247 alerts, you'll learn how to read the chart, so you'll know where to expect support, where to expect resistance, and how to find the windows of opportunity. Just got to show up and do the work. Support@cfrn.net. Subject line, I want to become a member. And by this time tomorrow, you could be a fully fledged member flying the CFRN passport colors. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Oh, almost forgot. You also get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. You get the concierge trade alerts every evening the second they're published. Every Monday morning you get the weekly trading zones at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And once they're published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. And you're able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Plus you get the golden key that opens all the private channels in Telegram. Everything from the discussion group to the weekly zones, to the Logic 247 alerts, to the concierge trade alerts, and hundreds of previous members only workshops. I'm telling you, it's everything a trader needs, all under one roof at one low price. Had I had this available to me in 2005, you and I probably wouldn't be having this conversation today. do the math. But God's got a plan. And I'm glad to know that I'm part of his plan. And part of that plan is helping you actually learn how to trade. I know you've been burned. I know you've been lied to. I know you've been ripped off. We all have. Okay? That's why Michael and I made a decision to create a place that was honest, had integrity, was family friendly, and where everybody treated each other like family. Let's do our good word for the day and call it a day. If you're on the other side of the world, you call it a night. Now, we talked Friday about getting real. And that's an important thing to do. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to talk about today. I think today we shall talk about when you're under attack. Part 1. Many of us spend a lot of our time feeling as if we're under attack, whether it's at home, at work, in our social clubs, even in our church. Isaiah 59:19 says, "When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." Your biggest mistakes often occur in the early stage of a trial because it catches you off guard. Surprise is one of the enemy's favorite weapons. So here are 4 winning strategies that you can use when you're under attack. Number 1, don't panic. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." That means whatever attack you're under, God's present, fully aware of your situation, and he has a solution. Just be sensitive and responsive to the voice of his Holy Spirit within you. Remember, time is on your side. Patience is a weapon that forces truth and motives to the surface. Okay, so number 1 was don't panic. Number 2 is analyze it. Solomon said, "In the day of prosperity be joyful, but in the day of adversity consider." Ecclesiastes 7:14. Sometimes what looks like a crisis is just concentrated information. And when you take time to analyze it, you'll benefit from it. Number 3, seek advice. Proverbs 11:14. Without guidance, a people will fall, but with many counselors there is deliverance. It's okay to ask for help. Ignorance is your enemy, and instruction is your friend. Somebody, somewhere, knows something you need to know. Something that can help you survive and even succeed during this painful chapter in your life. Reach out for them. Well, my washing machine went on the fritz. We live in a 2-story house, and whoever thought putting the washing machine on the 2nd floor of a 2-story house, I don't know what planet they came from, but anyway. So, I am, you know how some guys they're real handymen. Oh, I can fix anything. I'm the polar opposite of that guy. I'm serious. That's why I wear loafers. I struggle to tie my shoes. Seriously, we had a broken machine, and you know, if and of course our minds always race to the worst possible scenario. What if you can't fix it? What if we got to replace it? How will they ever get it out of this laundry closet on the second floor? But now this was a few years ago. I got calm. I prayed. I said, Lord, I don't know how you can help me. I don't know if you're any good with a wrench or anything, but I need some help. So the idea popped into my head, as it does lots of folks these days. And I Googled exactly what my problem was. You know, the the behavior that the washing machine was exhibiting, uh, which basically was not working, but there were a few more details. So I just typed it in and up popped a YouTube video. Huh. So I watched that YouTube video, and they had one for my exact model, which was in this house when we bought it in 2005. And so I watched the video, and the guy showed me how to do things I didn't think I could ever do. And inside there was this little tiny part. And he said, now, that part you hold in your hand, this is going to solve everything. Go on Amazon, put in the part number, and tomorrow, you and I will fix your washing machine in part 2 of this video. So I did everything he said, ordered the part. Next day it shows up. I go to part 2 of the video, and my wife thought I was like a superhero. Because remember, I'm not the handy guy. I don't fix things. It's like now if it's on a computer or something, I can do pretty good. But when it comes to, like, installing a door or laying carpet or tile, I'm not that guy. I did not genetically inherit that. I genetically inherited how to drink and chase women. Thank God that's over. But my wife thought I was the king of the castle. Because the washing machine worked. And that little part, it costs less than $1. And we have free delivery with Prime. So, when I was first confronted with the situation, my mind went to the worst possible place. Oh, this is going to be thousands of dollars. I'm going to have to buy a new washing machine. Then I'm going to have to pay somebody to take the old one out and try to get the new one in. And I just don't see how it's going to work. The doors are going to have to come off. And, but I sat and I was still. Remember, we just read, be still and know that I am God. So I did that. I took some deep breaths. These breathing exercises, mindfulness. If you haven't looked into it, if you think it's just, it's like that transcendental meditation crap in the 60s and 70s. It's not. It's not. When you can sit still and just focus on your breath, you don't have to stare at a candle. You don't have to light any incense. You don't have to chant any ridiculous thing. Just sit and be still. And know that God is God. And focus on your breath. And you'll be amazed that while you're not worrying about the problem, I mean, you're already aware of the problem, But as you're just sitting there and focusing on your breath, in and out, the solution pops into your head. For me that day, it was simply Google the problem. I know. That's like everybody's go-to now. This was a few years ago, but anyway. And I might say, it's still running. I probably shouldn't have said that, but thank you, Jesus. Okay, where we leave off before I went down that rabbit hole. Oh. Ignorance is your enemy, instruction is your friend. Somebody, somewhere knows something you need to know, something that can help you survive and even succeed during this painful chapter in your life. So that brings us to number 4. Number 1 was don't panic. Number 2 was analyze it. Number 3 was seek advice. Number 4, expect God to move. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Isaiah 59:19. Adversity is often the enemy's reaction to your progress. Rejoice. Your Heavenly Father's eyes are on you today. And here's the good news. He's pleased with you. He's not against you. And he's going to bring you through this, whatever it is, victoriously. That's our good word for today, part 1. Part 2 tomorrow. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.